If you looked at a stock chart this week and saw a company with 13 million in revenue suddenly trading at an implied valuation of $15 billion, you might think you missed the trade of a lifetime. But what you actually witnessed was one of the most sophisticated, mathematically impossible traps ever set for retail investors. We need to talk about AME Health Technology, ticker symbol AFJK, because what is happening with this stock right now is not just a bubble, and it is not just momentum. It is a textbook case of a market dislocation that is so severe, so detached from reality, that it serves as a perfect lesson in how money gets vaporized in the modern financial landscape. You might have seen the headlines or the percentage gainers list where this stock, seemingly out of nowhere, surged over 1,000% in a single trading session. It went from dormant to vertical, hitting intraday highs of over $98. But if you peel back the layers, if you look at the forensic data hidden in the SEC filings, you realize that this price action isn't a celebration of a great business. It is the death rattle of a zombie structure that has trapped traders in a room with no exit. To understand why this is a trap, you have to understand what this company actually is, because right now it is effectively a zombie reanimated by financial engineering. AME Health is a special-purpose acquisition company, or SPAC, that has been trying to find a company to merge with for a very long time. In fact, it is currently in the 13th month of extending its merger deadline. Usually, if a SPAC can't find a deal in 12 to 18 months, it dissolves and gives the money back to investors. But this one hasn't. It has extended its termination date 13 times. That is not normal. That is a sign of a sponsor who is desperate to keep the vehicle alive to avoid liquidation, to the point where they are issuing promissory notes just to keep the lights on. Now, the reason the stock went parabolic is a specific mechanism called a low-float liquidity squeeze, and I want to explain exactly how this works because it's the engine driving this entire chaotic event. When a SPAC keeps extending its deadline, the original investors, the people who put up the money at $10 a share, are given a choice. They can vote to approve the extension, or they can say, "No thanks, give me my money back right now." This is called redemption. In the case of AFJK, the redemptions have been massive. The vast majority of the original shares have been redeemed for cash, draining the trust account down to approximately $700,000. Think about that for a second. You have a company that the market was valuing at $15 billion at the peak, but it has less than $1 million in the bank. Because so many people redeemed, the number of shares actually available to trade, the float, has shrunk from millions down to perhaps fewer than 500,000 or even fewer than 100,000 shares. This creates a vacuum. When you have a tiny number of shares available and suddenly a wave of buying pressure hits, there is literally no one left to sell. The market makers have to jack up the price exponentially just to find liquidity. It's like a game of musical chairs where 99% of the chairs have been removed, but the music is still playing and thousands of people are trying to sit down at once. But here's where the story takes a turn into something much stranger and frankly much more dangerous. Why did everyone suddenly want to sit in these specific chairs? Why did the buying pressure arrive in the first place? It appears to be a classic case of mistaken identity. The company that AFJK is proposing to merge with is called United Hydrogen Group. Now, if you're a savvy investor in the green energy space, that name might sound familiar. You might be thinking, wait, didn't Plug Power acquire United Hydrogen a few years ago? And you would be right. In 2020, Plug Power bought a Pennsylvania-based company called United Hydrogen Group. However, the United Hydrogen that is merging with AFJK has absolutely no relation to that company. It's a completely separate entity, incorporated in the Cayman Islands with its operations centered in China. It's a name doppelganger. Investors are seeing the ticker, seeing the name United Hydrogen, and likely assuming they are buying into a spin-off or a related entity to a major US hydrogen player. They aren't. They're buying a small Chinese industrial gas distributor that happens to share the same name. This confusion is likely fueling a mistaken identity premium, where capital is blindly chasing a keyword without doing the due diligence on where the company is actually located. And when you look at the actual fundamentals of this Chinese target, the valuation becomes mathematically indefensible. We have the numbers. For the year 2023, this company generated approximately $13.1 million in revenue. That's it, $13 million. Yet the merger deal values this company at $1.6 billion. That's a valuation multiple of 122 times sales, and that's just at the deal price of $10. When the stock squeezed to $98, the market was effectively valuing this $13 million revenue stream at over $15 billion. Let's put that in perspective. Plug Power, a recognized leader in the space, trades at roughly 4 times sales. Ballard Power trades maybe 9 times sales. AFJK was trading at 1,200 times sales. You're paying a premium that exceeds the dot-com bubble, exceeds the 2021 mania for a company that is essentially a small industrial project in China. It's a discrepancy that feels like a glitch in the matrix. But the real danger, the thing that makes this a trap rather than just a bad investment, lies in the hidden dilution that is waiting in the wings. This is the part that usually wipes out retail investors who don't read the fine print. AFJK has a feature in its capital structure called rights, ticker symbol AFJKR. These aren't different from warrants. Warrants usually require you to pay cash to exercise them. Rights convert automatically and for free upon the closing of the merger. Here's the math that should terrify anyone holding the common stock at $50. Each right converts into 1/5 of a share. So if you buy 5 rights, you get a full share of stock when the deal closes. Currently, these rights are trading at roughly 35 cents, which means you can effectively buy a future share of this company for $1.75 via the rights market. Meanwhile, the stock market is pricing that same share at $30, $40, or $50. This is an arbitrage spread of 95%. What does this tell us? It tells us that the smart money, the arbitrage funds and institutional traders, do not believe the $50 price is real. If they did, they would be buying the rights with both hands. Instead, the rights are pricing the stock at less than $2. When the merger closes, those rights will convert into over 1 million new shares. Those shares will have a cost basis of effectively zero. The holders of those shares will sell them immediately to lock in their profit. This will create a massive supply shock that will crush the price. It's a latent supply dump that is structurally guaranteed to happen. There's also the issue of the warrants, which acts as another red flag. Warrants generally trade in correlation with the stock. If the stock is at $50 and the strike price is $11.50, the warrant should be worth nearly $40. But in these squeeze scenarios, we often see the warrants trading at just a few dollars, completely disconnected from the stock price. This is the market screaming at you that the stock price is artificial. It's a broken mechanic. It's a temporary liquidity vacuum that will resolve itself violently to the downside. Furthermore, we have to talk about the zombie nature of the financing. To keep this SPAC alive through 13 extensions, the sponsor and the target have been issuing unsecured promissory notes. These notes are convertible into equity at $10. This creates a perverse incentive. The insiders are lending money to the company to keep it alive, knowing they can convert that debt into shares at $10. If they can keep the hype going and the stock price elevated, they are effectively printing free money for themselves while retail investors are buying at $40 or $50. It is a transfer of wealth from the uninformed to the insiders who structured the deal. And let's not forget the regulatory risk, which is massive. The target company is based in China, which means it is subject to the review of the China Securities Regulatory Commission, or CSRC. We have seen this story before. If the Chinese regulators decide to delay or reject the listing, the deal dies. If the deal dies, or if the merger isn't consummated by the January 2026 deadline, the SPAC has to liquidate. In a liquidation scenario, the trust pays out $10.10 per share. That is the floor. If you buy at $50 and the deal fails, you lose 80% of your principal instantly. There is no recovery. There is no bounce. It just resets to the cash value of the trust. So when you combine all these factors, the absurd valuation of 122 times sales, the confusion with the US-based United Hydrogen, the micro float caused by massive redemptions, and the looming dilution from the rights, you get a verdict that is unavoidable. This is a high-conviction sell. It is uninvestable on fundamental grounds. The price you see on the screen is a mirage created by market mechanics, not business value. The narrative you need to understand is that AFJK is currently trading as a micro-float liquidity vehicle rather than a representative share of a functional business. It is a trading sardine, not an eating sardine. Traders might be able to scalp volatility here, but for anyone looking to invest, looking to hold for the long term, the math is stacked against you in a way that is almost hard to believe. You are effectively betting that a company with the revenue of a few gas stations is worth more than legitimate global energy giants. And this brings us to the Wright's dilution trap, which is perhaps the most critical takeaway. The market is currently bifurcated. You have the common stock trading in the stratosphere because of scarcity, and you have the Wrights trading in the basement because of reality. Eventually, those two realities must merge, and when they do, gravity always wins. The Wrights will convert, the float will expand, and the scarcity premium will evaporate. Even the behavior of the insiders signals a lack of confidence. The fact that the target company, United Hydrogen, is paying for some of the extension fees is highly unusual. Typically, the SPAC sponsor pays to keep the deal alive. When the target starts paying, it suggests a level of desperation, a pay-to-play dynamic, where they are willing to burn cash just to secure a ticker symbol because they likely cannot raise capital anywhere else. So what happens next? There are really only a few scenarios. Scenario 1 is that the deal closes. If that happens, the Wrights convert, the new shares hit the market, and the price likely collapses toward the deal value of $10 or even lower as the market digests the valuation. Scenario 2 is that the deal fails or is blocked by regulators. In that case, the stock immediately reprices to $10.10. Scenario 3 is that it remains a zombie, drifting lower as the excitement fades and day traders move on to the next shiny object. In none of these scenarios does buying at $50 make fundamental sense. The rally we saw on December 9th, where volume exceeded 6 million shares despite a tiny float, is characteristic of algorithmic high-frequency trading. It's machines trading the same block of shares back and forth milliseconds apart, ratcheting the price higher in a vacuum. It creates an illusion of demand where there is none. And as we saw in the after-hours session where the stock dropped nearly 47%, once that algorithmic pressure turns off, the bid stack evaporates. If you are watching this, the lesson is not just about AFJK, it is about learning to read the filings over the headlines. It is about checking the domicile of a company before you buy the name, and it is about understanding that in the SPAC world, a high stock price often signals a broken market, not a successful business. This is a trap built on confusion and scarcity, and the exit doors are much smaller than they look. The disparity between the Wrights price and the stock price is the market telling you the future. The Wrights are betting on a return to $1.75. The stock is living in a fantasy at $50. Which side of that trade do you want to be on? Ultimately, this is a story about the disconnect between price and value. The price is $50, the value based on the trust is $10, the value based on the Wrights is under $2. The gap between those numbers is pure risk, and in a market that eventually corrects every anomaly, that gap is mathematically destined to close. The only question is whether you are holding the bag when it happens. This is a financial mechanism where the low float lures traders into a valuation vacuum, and while the volatility is seductive, the structural reality is that massive dilution is already written into the contract, waiting for the signature that brings the whole house of cards down to earth. And hey, I hope this video helps you with your quest for profits. Catch you on the next one.